Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we have a new update for the Cook Political Reports 2026 forecast, and things are brutal for Democrats. They're anticipating some sort of big blue wave, and if anything, there's a big red wall that is building up because the Texas map is heading to Greg Abbott's desk. Republicans out of the gate are going to be gaining several House seats, I think 4 in their column, and then an additional toss-up district, according to Cook Political Report. And this is huge because they're at 215. The Democrats are at 202. So they need to win 3 out of the 18 toss-up districts in order to hold the House, which is absolutely massive, assuming they hold on to all of the lean states and the likely states, which again, you could make arguments about some of those House districts for sure, but still the bottom line is even if Democrats flip a few of those, they end up getting the House. It's very unlikely that they're going to have this massive wave. They would have the House by like a few seats, it seems like maximum. And yes, California is going to move to possibly redistrict. If they even clear enough hurdles to the point where they'd be able to do that, it would be 4 additional blue seats, which again, Republicans in Indiana, Missouri, and Ohio would then further move to offset that. And then Florida on top of it possibly would be on standby if another blue state wants to kind of mess around, because there's a lot of room to grow in Florida, and Ron DeSantis said he's willing to do it. So we'll see what happens on that front. But regardless, if there is this big redistricting war, Republicans are going to go out there and they're going to win it. And that's important. And the fact that they're already starting off at 215, because we don't even have confirmation of the California thing. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Or the VRA Section 2 Supreme Court case. We can cross those bridges when we get there. But one thing we understand is there's no path for a blue wave. The average midterm gain for an out-of-power party since 1945 is 25 seats. The Democrats gained 41 seats in the first Trump midterm. They would be lucky to gain 10 net seats this time around, regardless of the redistricting war or not. We're becoming polarized. You're seeing this. Different trends are working against them. Different state maps are working against them. Even their own maps in some cases, these dummy manders like New Mexico and Nevada, it's possible the bottom could fall out. I'm not saying it will in those states. Republicans don't need any of those seats to really win the House, but they will have to, force the Democrats to defend those seats, which really is something. So when you look at this, there's no pathway for a blue wave, and it's not in the fundamentals either. You have a Democrat Party that is becoming increasingly incompetent and a Republican Party that has become increasingly competent since 2022 even. And we probably will see an electorate similar to 2022, where you will have a more college-educated electorate. A lot of lower propensity voters might not show up, which again, that is going to help out the Democrats for sure. But this is the best polling season for Democrats of the year. And right now, they can't even muster up a 4-point lead in the generic ballot with a lot of low accuracy online panel polls in that D plus 3.9. I would speculate that it's closer to a D plus 2 electorate, which is probably not really all that great for them in terms of their ability to retain the House at this point. On top of it, Donald Trump's approval rating is minus 4.9. His approval rating this time of year in 2018 come election time, which again, it can go up, it could go down. We understand that, but he's more favorably viewed personally to the point where if anything, it could go up further. The floor is higher. The ceiling is also higher than it was term 1, but term 1, he enjoyed an approval rating on a good day in the first half of his first term in like the low 40s. And now he's polling in the mid to high 40s. And that's with it being the worst season for polling. Even if we say he's down by 2 or 3 in like an actual fair aggregate, that's pretty good overall. It really is. And Democrats are not heading for some massive wave. There's no evidence of that. There's really not. You could point to special elections where Democrats have been winning most of them because they are the party now that is like of the voter who it just shows up for every little election. Republicans are the party of the working class and a lot of lower propensity voters, so they're going to have to maximize that for sure. But in terms of the House, it's so easy. The pathway is just so easy for Republicans because already if you're starting at 215, and of course you might have some people say, well, the Tom Keene district's not a guarantee hold or whatever, and they'll say the same thing about the Kiggins district, but it seems like both of them will do well in a midterm electorate. They're Republicans that have more, appeal to a midterm electorate, you could argue, and there's plenty of room for them to grow on the Republican side because it's very likely that the 28th district with Cuellar's scandal and them running, a stronger candidate in a redder district, they will be able to go out there and possibly take that seat in Texas, which is going to be huge. And then redistricting in Ohio, this is like a Trump plus 8, Trump plus 9 red trending district. Iowa's first. I think they could hold that, even if they, have to primary out Marionette Miller Meeks to do so. And I think, one of those Arizona seats, at least you could make the case holds. But regardless, it's like there's so much room for them to go out there and grow. And even when you have that many toss-ups in a very blue favorable environment, it's kind of unlikely given the efficiency distribution of a midterm year that Democrats would be able to go out there and even get 15 out of those 18, especially if you're dealing with a redder year than you would be dealing with in 2018, and you have a lot more Republican incumbents that are going to be better funded defending their seats, and Trump's got his big war chest. Republicans are, in my opinion, putting themselves in the driver's seat to possibly hold the House. I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure. We're 7 months into Trump's presidency. The midterms will be taking place sometime around the 21st month mark, and we know that, but still, it does seem as if, as things stand now, Republicans are on the right path to at least make the House very competitive. And that's the bottom line, because even if the Democrats retake it, Trump has already passed a lot of his agenda. And if they try to go out there and impeach Donald Trump, they're only going to lose political capital if they've learned anything over the past 10, 11 years, which I don't believe they really have. And it's not going to work. It's not going to be effective. And that we know. But when you look at the Senate map as well, this is not the toss-ups map for sure. I know New Mexico and Virginia are going to go in the Democrat column, and a state like Texas or Ohio, probably under 10 points. But these are the states filled in that went for the Republicans by 10 points or more. And if they hold just those seats and nothing else, they get to 51. Now, if they get Maine, which Susan Collins tends to outrun a lot of other Republicans in the state, it's kind of a unique exception in a very unique state, then you would see Republicans at 52. So their worst case scenario is probably a loss of 1 or 2 Senate seats tops. And I don't even know if we're going to get there, and it's possible, I'm not saying guaranteed, but possible that they could hold Maine, hold North Carolina, and then gain seats. Maybe you get Michigan, maybe you get Georgia, maybe you pull off an upset in New Hampshire, which is kind of a sleeper state for Republicans in 2028, given the way that the party registration is heading. So you have a lot of metrics that are looking very good for the Republicans and not so good for the Democrats. And it's not we're just going to brace for a 2018 repeat. No, we're actually looking at this and it's are we possibly going to be able to expand the trifecta and majorities that we have? And that's a big mandate right there that Donald Trump would be able to claim. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but is there a real possibility and a much more capable possibility of that happening than the Democrats gaining 41 seats? Absolutely. I mean, 41 seats, I don't even know what districts you'd have to win in order to get there. You'd have to win districts that went for Trump by 20 points and under in order to kind of make that happen. So it's very unlikely that that is going to end up being the case, regardless of how much Democrats would like it to be the case. And as for the governor elections, the gubernatorial map right here, it seems like this is the consensus, which again, Republicans, it seems like they're trading Kansas for Virginia. We could talk about Virginia. We could talk about New Jersey, the possibilities for an upset. But assuming Democrats win both and Republicans get Kansas, that basically would mean that there's going to be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very competitive governorships. And obviously, I think Nevada is a hold for Republicans because Lombardo is an incumbent. He's relatively popular. Wisconsin and Michigan are both open. Arizona, you have an unpopular Democrat in a red trending state. Georgia, I would make the case because of the Democrats' weak candidates that Republicans would be the favorites there. So it seems like Republicans only really have room to grow at this level. I'm not saying they're going to get all three. They may not get any of these three, and you might see something happen like Mary Peltola in Alaska, because, again, these are less polarized elections at the state level. But even if we do see something like that happen, Republicans could make it up with the, three-way race in Michigan or flipping Arizona, or depending on who runs in Wisconsin, winning that. So at every single level, you could make the case that you would rather be the Republicans than the Democrats. And that's with a Republican, Donald Trump, in the White House, which is historically a massive anomaly in a great way for the Republican Party. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.